Let's talk about how to improve delivery of your speech. Now, imagine for a second that you're on stage and everyone's giving you a standing ovation and you're the best speaker they've ever heard. That's a cool thing. I'd like you to think about the best speaker you've ever heard. Because you want to know the best one I've ever heard? I'll tell you after we get started. In 2015, I was at a conference for the National Speakers Association. It's called Influence, and I'd recommend that you go check out an Influence conference whenever you get the chance, because every year they hold these and they're amazing. They bring in some of the best speakers in the world, and in Washington, D.C. in 2015, I saw the best speaker I've ever seen on stage. His name is Mark Scherenbrock. Yeah, it's a hard last name to spell, but he has a message called Nice Bike. If you go check out Mark's website, nicebike.com, you'll see what I saw, as well as thousands of other speakers who sat at his feet and worshiped the man that was the best speaker we've ever seen. Obviously, there are wonderful speakers throughout the world, but for me, Mark Scherenbrock is my very favorite. And the reason I wanted to share that with you is just because there are so many different ways to speak. There are so many different ways to deliver a speech. It's nice to see someone masterfully do so. So we're going to dive in today as to how you can improve your delivery as a speaker, as well as some of the ways that make you uniquely who you are and why it matters for sharing your gifts and talents as only you can. Number one, let's talk about the power of voice modulation. What was so cool about the way that Mark Scherenbrock delivered Nice Bike is that he changed his voice, his tone, his volume, his pacing, his pauses. Everything he did mattered on that stage. It was very well rehearsed, but he could, because he was so well rehearsed, he could improvise within it. Does that make sense? When we build the foundation of what we're good at, then we can captivate the audience by being even more present in the moment, which he was, because things happened all around that he added in that made it even funnier. He tied in things from the last speakers, and he did such a masterful job. And so using these techniques, such as adding color to the speech, whether it's the colorful language that you use in terms of some beautiful vocabulary, or if it's just the way that you speak, the tonality, the vocal tone, the volume, the pitch, all of those things matter every speech that you give. And so I'd like you to practice doing this for yourself. You could just take a voice recorder or your phone and record your voice talking. I want you to tell a story or even just read something. See how compelling it really sounds. Then the next level up would be to turn on the camera and record yourself. As you start to go through these types of exercises, this creates the ability to become even more captivating and better at speech that you want to give with great delivery. Another video you might find very helpful on this channel is titled, How to Improve the Tone of Your Speaking Voice. This is something that's very important because your tone matters. The audience wants to listen to something pleasant or interesting, captivating, and it's up to you to deliver that. One of my favorite examples is a guy named Tony Robbins. Oh yeah, you know Tony Robbins, huge guy, right? What does he do? He jumps up and down, he screams, he yells, he says some pretty strong language, but he captivates his audience and he delivers in such a way that's so interesting because he yells and then he whispers. And he always asks an interesting question up front. He does a lot of great techniques. He's a good one to go check out. Let's now talk about the art of pausing. Pausing is so interesting and a lot of speakers avoid it. Speakers get to this point where they're just talking so fast and they can't stop, and then it's like a train running down the track and it's just too much. So can you pause? Can you give your audience a chance to catch up with what you're saying? That gives them a chance to actually comprehend and chew on the beauty of the words that you're sharing, the content that can help them so much. I was watching an interview by Bruce Lee. Oh, I love Bruce Lee. This guy mastered pausing like nobody's business. He has a video that he's sitting there and he says to the effect of, "This is what it is, okay?" Then he pauses and he looks down. And he gives you something that you're like, what is he gonna say? And he says, "This is what it is, okay?" And he looks down. Be formless, shapeless. Be water, my friend. And then he smiles. So he does this huge pause right at the beginning of the thought and then goes into it. It makes us wonder what he's going to say. It makes us lean in as he says, "This is what it is." And then he stops and thinks. Be shapeless, formless, like water. Be water, my friends. Just that little piece, the captivation that creates because he paused. That's an important thing to work on. So I encourage you to try it. It's actually pretty darn hard. So record yourself speaking and then try to record yourself with couple of anticipatory pauses. I made another video about this on this channel, and this is the title: How can you use pauses in public speaking? So type that in and go check out more about how pausing is helpful. A master of this as well was a politician and the President of the United States named Barack Obama. Obama used to be known for his pauses. Let's talk about gestures and body language. I've done a lot of videos on body language, but it's so essential because our face, our posture, the way that we hold ourselves matters so much in our delivery of making a better speech. So when you think about your body and the way that you move, that's what a lot of people are seeing in terms of the words that you're saying, because they're only listening to 7% of the words you're saying, where they're actually watching your body do most of the talking. Yeah, they can hear your voice, but your body says so much about what you mean. One of my favorite speakers of all time who did this well, a guy named Zig Ziglar. He passed away a few years ago, but the ultimate legend. Every time Zig spoke, he'd be like, "I'll see you at the top." And then he'd go down to his knee and he'd say like a little silent prayer for the audience. Oh, it was spectacular. His body language mattered. So think about your posture, posing, your face, all of those things adding up makes the accumulation of an improved delivery of speech. If you want to check out another video on this in depth, I titled it, How to Use Body Language in a Speech. Go check that one out. I would also start to master the concept of eye contact. And so there's different techniques you can use. I've made other videos about that as well on this channel. But as a brief overview, consider looking at a person one-on-one rather than the whole audience. You can even do the triangle effect, which is just pick 3 people out in the audience and look back at them each time. It might get weird after a while, so choose a different triangle of people. Eye contact really matters when we speak, and if we speak to the one person, we're speaking to everyone. I made a video about this if you want to check it out. The title is Why is Eye Contact Important in Public Speaking? And then of course there's utilizing props. Hey, you can improve a speech by doing some props. Mark Scherenbrock had some props on stage at his great Nice Bike speech I shared with at the beginning. He had a box, he had a couple of different things that he used, he even had a baton that he used at the very end. It was spectacular. If you think about props, you might think about Carrot Top. Carrot Top is a Las Vegas entertainer. He is really quite the genius with the props that he uses. But, you know, a lot of people give him a bad rap as if he's not a great comedian. He's an incredible performer in delivery of speech, especially. But think about the reveal of a prop. That's a fun thing. I have a part in my presentation where I talk about Billy Joel not playing the piano man, even though he's the piano man. And then I pull out the harmonica and I play the harmonica. Nobody saw it coming, and everybody goes, "Oh wow, you can play the harmonica too." So whether it's a hat, whether it's a jacket, changing the way that you look, putting on a different pair of sunglasses, a prop always can improve your delivery. Another thing that could be considered a prop, but it's actually something that just helps you in your speaking, is your slide deck. Think about the slides when you're speaking. Now, you want to have slides that you can utilize to make the speech better, but you don't want to have slides that are so important that you can't do the speech without them. There will be times when you'll show up and the slide deck doesn't work, or the laptop or the projector, something's wrong. Can you still deliver the speech without the slides? That's the question. As you enhance and create better slides, that will improve the delivery of your speech, especially if those can be used as punchlines, and especially if you can do it without them at all. And so if you found this valuable today, I would appreciate very much if you would put in the comments what you found helped you. I'll respond to every single question, and even if you're interested in some mentoring, just put it in the comments as well. I so appreciate that you would join me here, and I hope that this has helped you to consider how you can become a better presenter and better in your delivery as a speaker. You know, your best speech is the next one you're going to give. I'm excited for you, and I wish you well with it.